Welcome back, you beautiful fucks. Today we're going to be reviewing Danny and the Dinosaur, the hit novel, the New York Times bestseller, based off my very true life story. And as you can see, it all started when I was attacked by a giant walking string of spaghetti. Just kidding. We're not talking about that. That is a great book, though. I had that ever since I was a kid, because, I don't know. I never really got rid of my childhood books. I still have that and Where the Wild Things Are. There tends to be a trend if you look at my life. Everything revolves around monsters. So, anyway, speaking of monsters, today we're looking at one of my favorite... Get that hand out of there. Jesus Christ. Today we're looking at one of my favorite kaiju, or favorite mechs, if you want to prefer it that way. Kiryu, also known as MechaGodzilla 3. I go by Kiryu, though. I prefer that name. I think it's cooler, more unique. And this is just one of my favorite kaiju mechs. I don't know. I want to say kaiju because that's just how I am. So be mad at me in the comments. I don't care. I need a little bit of drama in my life. Spice it up a bit. Just take it out on me. But this is the Bandai Movie Monster series, the basic one. And this is a really good figure. I love the detail on it, this and that, you know. It has the articulation that you expect, except for the legs, they don't move. So, very solid. One of the reasons why this is my favorite is I just love the design. When I was younger, I kind of go back and forth between preferring this one over MechaGodzilla 1974, 75. That used to be my favorite, but I think over time I just prefer the look of Kiryu. It's a very beautiful mecha figure and just beautiful design in general, and I have two of them. I'm showing both though because my smart ass was supposed to have one without the tag for display and one with the tag for display, and when I was going through a phase of cutting off tags I didn't need, I accidentally cut off both tags for both of the figures. So shame on me. Now both Kiryus are tagless. I used to have another one too of the basic design. It was a bootleg from Wish, but I got rid of that. I have the two officials now. I just wish that I still have the tags. They're in a binder, but would have been nice to have one with the tags attached. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, this guy right here is Kiryu, but as you can see, this has the drill hand activated, which is a very nice touch. I do not have a tag for this one. I believe I bought it used on eBay. My camera does not want to focus on the tip because it's very small, but just a small detail makes this figure even cooler. So definitely am happy to have it. The drill hand's just a cool attack. Kiryu's very powerful. Okay, you gotta admit, like in against MechaGodzilla and Tokyo SOS, like he's definitely almost, I don't know why I was thinking of calling him a beef cannon, but I don't think that's appropriate. We're say a walking arsenal, you know, because he really is. And he's very unique when it comes to the story of, you know, being built around the 1954 Godzilla's bones and then essentially becoming haunted by that Godzilla and what that may symbolize and such and such. It's very almost beautiful and yet tragic story that this mech endures. So we're looking at his two battle modes. I go from something very serious and deep to now let's look at him with more guns. Like, so this is from if I remember correctly, this is... I try to look this up because I'm not good with these attachment units. This is the Type 3, I believe. This is from Godzilla Against MechaGodzilla, one of my favorite movies growing up. Now, this figure is very recent. Some of you may already have it. And we all know that the paint on this sucks. Because, well, not all of it. The primary paint is fine. It's the silver, looks good. You know, God bless. But also the blue is very good too. But for some reason, if you look at the Kiryu figures I have in the back, one of them being another recent, well, quotes are on the word recent, but you know what I mean. It's, you can still pick it up on like the official Godzilla store or on Amazon. So it's not a hard figure to find. And the paint, especially or specifically in the areas where it should be black, like where the wires are underneath the suit, all the joints and such, it's just absent on this figure. They just went completely solid black. I don't know what the paint budget is. Maybe it's because they added this, the Type 3 to it, that they couldn't. Hey, we used the blue and a little bit of black. We can't use that. We can't use any more black, but that's our paint budget per figure. I don't know how the assembly line works, but seems a little cheap if you ask me. So, but then we have this. This is the, I believe this is the heavy arms. I've seen some people say this is a Type 3 modified. I'm going to stick to the term heavy arms. That's just how I prefer to say it, because if you look, those attachments on his arms do look a bit heavier than the previous ones. And this figure right here is also another more recent, that's still easily accessible figure, and it has the black details on it. So I don't know. I don't know what Bandai. Maybe they just didn't want to. That's it. But it maybe really was the fact that there's blue, because this one doesn't have. It's all silver. The heavy arm unit is still all silver. So they were like, oh, might as well throw some black on there. Whereas in the previous figure, that blue, it blew the budget. They are limited. They only have 2 paint brushes per painter in the factory where they work. So you gotta spare what you can. But definitely the heavy arms unit is the better looking figure. Type 3 still looks good. Okay, it's not bad, but that lack of paint really does hurt it. It gives it almost like a bootleg look, if you ask me. It's way too smooth. It's not bad, but oh my goodness, man, what a switch up in paint. This right here came into my arms by accident, because this is the Evangelion Unit 2 MechaGodzilla Kiryu, and this figure off the bat beautiful. I wanted to get the Unit 1, but I never did. It's probably like $5,000 on eBay right now. I paid $50 for this, and I say I got on accident because this is back when I first installed eBay onto my phone and was just starting to, the addiction of collecting was setting in. That was a bad time, but and you gotta hear why, because I was on eBay after pretty much buying every Bandai figure I could off Amazon. So I was like, okay, let me dip into the used market on eBay. Let me see what they got on here. And there was an auction. I don't normally do auctions on eBay. I prefer to buy it now because I'm impatient. So there was an auction for this guy, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna win this. But at the time it was like $30 or $40. That's where the bids were at. So I threw some money down to get the highest bid. And I kept checking in on it, and no one outbid me. So I ended up getting it. I got the email one day like, oh yeah, you won, pay the person now. And it's like, oh, Jesus. So that's how I got that Kiryu Evangelion figure. This is not that, though. This is I believe these are Bandai figures that used to be sold at Target. They're minis, 3 3/4 inch MechaGodzilla Type 3 that has the same amount of paint as the 6-inch Movie Monster Series version. So what does that say about Bandai? Still a nice figure, though. He gets a pass for being that small of a figure. This guy, though, this is not Bandai, I think. Is it? Because Bandai does... I don't think it is. I think it's a different company that did this. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I had a cupcake. Anyway, this is a model kit. I forget the brand. It might be Bandai. I don't think it is, though. Either way, though, this is really cool. It was a decent build, pretty fun, and just a lot of interchangeable parts. It's a bit fragile too, especially with some of the dorsal plates. It's about 7 inches tall. A lot of moving parts, like I said, a lot of accessories. His chest can open up for the Absolute Zero cannon. He has the blades on his arms, the wires, the jets on his thighs, the tail moves. He has, again, the Type 3 unit. And we'll see here in a second, you have different choices for his eyes. I went ahead and chose the red eyes for when he's essentially possessed by Godzilla, and it's supposed to symbolize, like crying tears of blood, and just in agony or emotional pain. He's supposed to be dead. The whole sad sad backstory of Kiryu being being constructed, his bones being constructed on. I'm explaining it horribly. Watch the movie, people. Jesus, you probably already did. But like I said, this is a fun model kit to build. The only downside I would say is, like most model kits, because I built Gunpla as well, it looks better in the advertised images, whereas the figure you get, it's not paint. Well, there's paint, but it's a very basic paint job. Whereas when they're advertised, they do like the lineage, and they probably give it a good custom paint job that you don't get when you get it yourself. So yeah, that's sad. Anyway, but it does come with these 3 jets. I forget what they're called, but you see them in the movie. They carry Kiryu to battle. So that's cool. It's actually nice to have these, because I don't know if there was any other way to get these. There might have been, but I'm happy to have 3 of them now, and they all came with this one set. So, and there's still a few Kiryu model sets out there. They're on Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store. They're a bit pricey for what they are, in my opinion, but they're out there. So I do recommend them if you're into like Gunpla and stuff like that. I don't know what just happened on screen right there, but that was a bit violent. Anyway, that is it for part 1. That's right, this is part 1 of Kiryu. I got more Kiryu figures, but I'm saving the rest for the next video, where I talk about some of the Godzillas and Mothra figures from Godzilla against MechaGodzilla and Tokyo SOS. I'm combining these into, instead of keeping the movies separate, I'm kind of bunching everything up into 2 videos. So, which would have actually been that way anyway, because we're talking about only 2 movies. So, I'm just doing things differently. Roll with it, okay? It's going to be nice. So, next video, we're talking about more Kiryu, the 8-inch figures, and the bigger Bandai one. And then we'll be looking at some other Godzilla stuff. So, stay tuned for that. Don't worry, eventually I will get the Battle War figures for GXK. I just keep postponing that because, I don't know. I did go to Walmart today to see if they had it. They didn't, so I was like, oh, well, there goes that. But I think the Target near me has it. I just have to get the energy to go. So, what a day. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. If you want to reach out to me on Instagram, you can. The link is in the description below. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you all take care, and I'll see you all next time.